Florida leading the SEC at 2.62 kills per set. Ole Miss tops in the league at total blocks with 214. The Gators 18-3, 9-1 overall in the SEC, and then 14-8 overall is Ole Miss with a 6-5 conference record. It's Lauren Barr sending it over, and we're underway at the Gillum Center. There's Monterey going right outside to Hall. She'll tool the block, and that's one kill right off the bat for the sophomore from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Not wasting any time, making sure that fans and players alike know her name, respect her on the pin.
Straub tried to answer. Hands were made with contact with that ball. And then speaking of the block, there's Aubrey Saltemeyer right in the middle, rejecting that one to the floor to tie it up at 1.
Aubrey Saltemeyer is a player that I've really enjoyed watching this season, Seth. She's started to mature as an athlete, and that's always a fun thing to watch because when players come in from high school or come in off of a a club season, there's one thing that a coaching staff expects them to do, but then there's this unknown potential beyond what they've seen, and Aubrey Saltemeyer is certainly filling into her role for the Rebels.
Lauren Dooley, another middle that we highlighted before the match. The sophomore from Plano, Texas, stands 6'6", went up and put that one down quickly to give the Gators the lead again. Dooley averages 1.28 kills per set. She's more known for her defense this season. 1.2 blocks per set, second best in the Southeastern Conference. Line shot from Mulkey, kept alive by Gregory for just a second, but not brought back. Leah Mulkey on fire the past few matches for Ole Miss. She's averaged double figures over their last 3 matches, and frankly, they've needed that from someone on an opposite side or the middle who's also got involved the past couple of matches as well.
You're absolutely right. It can't be left up to 1 or even 2 players to carry the load for an entire team. Ole Miss has done a great job of spreading their offense and having a more even set distribution and kill distribution because of it.
There was a block in front of Holly Carlton, but it didn't matter as she was able to power it between the blockers and the net, the junior from Sterling, Virginia. Serves with the left hand, sends it over. Now Bars goes outside to Anna Baer, who picks up an early kill. Another player at Ole Miss has needed to kind of pick it back up. She got off to such a hot start in her freshman campaign, and her coach, Stephen McRoberts, told us before the match, he's been telling her just go out there and play like you've always played.
Absolutely, and I think that's the most sound advice that you can give a player like Anna Baer, who did come out hot. As a freshman, especially in the SEC, no one knows you. You know what you're capable of, but you don't know exactly how that's going to stack up in league competition. And after a few outings in preseason where she really did well, and then a little bit of an injury to kind of slow her down, she's sort of got to put her foot back on the gas pedal, so to speak, and kind of kick it into high gear in this last half of conference.
Smart tip there from Paige Hammonds, the junior outside from Louisville. She's been lethal at the service line against Ole Miss in her career. She has 7 service aces. They all came through the 2 matches in the 2018 season, and right on cue, she picks up another one, increasing the Florida lead to 5-3. Warnell tools the block. It's Ole Miss back within 1 here. Senior from Dickinson, Texas, coming off of a career outing on the road in Tuscaloosa. 16 kills on a .519 hit percentage. She's been nothing short of amazing here in her final campaign with the Rebels, one of the most efficient hitters in the country. Monterey goes up and attacks the second ball. Now here's a set to Straub. She'll tip. Rachel Kramer went up for it. Could not get it back over the net. Kind of tapped it straight back down into the wrong side of the net there. And we're all tied up at 5.
You know, for as simple as that might look on TV, that's one of the more difficult plays to make in the game of volleyball because you have to time not only the way the ball is falling, but your distance off the net, the fact that you've just jumped for, a block, but then you have to turn around and try and tap the ball back over again.
Thayer Hall had a lightning bolt that was picked up by Purcell. Now the return and a chance for Ole Miss as Straub goes opposite side, hits it into the red paint for an attacking error.
Checking for the Gators, 99, Lauren Dooley, and 28 Chanel Hargraves. Hargraves is back to
it's going to be no surprise to the Gators that a lot of balls will be going to 13 and white, Emily Straub, and they've got huge hands, especially on that block there with Rachel Kramer up in front of her. Straub's going to have to either hit high off hands or work a faster set maybe to be able to gain some ground on the other side of the floor.
There's a tip from Hall. It's picked up by, Straub that came all the way across the floor. Bit of confusion inside that 10-foot line on the Ole Miss side of things. Hargraves picks this one up. Now set into the back row. Picked up and then sent back over the net, but a pancake from Purcell. The two-handed dump. We're going back and forth here early on. Straub the tip, picked up by Hall. Montserrat going back to the back row, at least tried to, and then it's rejected by Warnell. Hall tried to return one with a outside attack, instead misfired it into the net. What a rally there for the 6 point for the Rebels.
I don't know if you're out of breath saying all of that, Seth. I'm almost out of breath watching it tip back and forth, but some stellar defensive plays. That's really what I noticed there, the all-out effort. Nicole Purcell with some really nice digs. Obviously, Thayer Hall, it looked like maybe kind of trying for a thumbs-down type arm swing to go sharp cross-court. Didn't work out, but both teams were not willing to give up a point on defense.
Hall able to get the kill there. Too early on for the sophomore. Holly Carlton checks back into the match for Florida. Here's Marley Montserrat, sophomore from Windermere, Florida. Her first season running the 5-1. Remember, her and her sister, Allie, operated the 6-2 a season ago. She won't have to serve very long as Emily Straub ends that rotation with a powerful swing near side. From one setter to another. Here's Lauren Bars, fresh off a 52-assist outing against Alabama, 5 off of her career high. Another player working her first full season in a 5-1 rotation. Dooley goes up, picked up by the SEC's leader in digs per set, Nicole Purcell. And then another kill for the senior Emily Straub. 8-7. Rebels lead it here in set number 1.
That's not the hardest swing we've seen from Emily Straub. I just have to assume that Allie Montserrat, while she was ready to play defense, she was also had her body and her momentum moving towards that release to the net so that she'd be able to set the ball and kind of caught herself off balance.
There's Marley Montserrat again. Ball from Dooley cut left side, picked up by the setter Bars, and then Straub's going to pop this one sky high for Florida. Montserrat near side to Carlson, goes down the line and misses. Another point for the Rebels. It's not often you see a free ball given a team all the time in the world to go after it, but it's exactly what Straub did. It ended up working out. Speaking of working out, that swing from Thayer Hall wouldn't be brought back by too many defensive specialists.
No, it certainly wouldn't. She is an unbelievable player, and I'm sure that's something that is obvious whether you know the game or not, but she is incredibly smart too, which I think is what makes her maybe more lethal than just the sheer firepower she puts behind the ball.
This is going to be fun, isn't it?
If you didn't know that we weren't charging admission, you could almost get away with that. I would pay to see this kind of action, and I think that's a testament to both teams. You talked about before the match, Seth, Florida 7 in a row, Ole Miss on a 5-0-5, loss streak, but both teams coming out absolutely playing like it's 0-0, and they've got everything to prove or lose here.
Serving for the Gators, number 14, Allie Gregory.
Back one set to Saltemeyer. This will be Hammonds on the far side. Diving effort from Emily Straub. The push near side for Anna Bear. Found a fingertip and then dropped to the left of Allie Gregory. Another kill early on for the freshman Anna Bear out of St. Louis, Missouri, Ursuline Academy. Averages 2.72% here in her freshman season.
I think the thing that Bear does really well during that play is not doing too much, if that makes any kind of sense. It was out of system. She was off the net, and rather than trying to swing straight down, knowing that the size of the block that's on the other side of the floor, she just places the ball well, and it gets a kill.
Carlton tools Bear for that kill, sends herself to the back line to serve. Gators down by 1 here in the first set. Ole Miss trying to extend their lead. Anna Bear looking for fingertips. Got the call on a touch, and it's 12-10 Rebels.
You know, sometimes that's all you need. Your coach or your teammates to believe in you, sort of to set that spark again, but then coming out and maybe just getting a roll shot kill, getting a little bit of confidence under your belt to then start taking some bigger hacks, especially against a team like Florida. You have to know you're going to get blocked as a hitter. It's a part of any game, but especially against a team like Florida, that can't be what stops you from swinging.
Hammonds comes forward with some pace to get back within 1. She'll also be back to the line to serve. Mentioned her 7 aces against the Rebels a season ago. She had 4 in a single match. She's done that 7 times in her career. Truly impressive server. We'll continue to keep an eye on what makes it so challenging. There's Anna Bear, another kill early on, 4. That doubles what she did on Sunday in Tuscaloosa.
Back to serve, Izzy Guzzi.
Monserrat on the slide to Kramer. That one's not coming back. Third on the active NCAA list for hit percentage is Rachel Kramer.
You know, Avery Bugg was in good position there defensively to make that play. I would love to see her, though, finish with her hips around the ball. I don't know if that's something the Rebels necessarily work on, but as a 6 rotation player myself, I made the best plays when I was focused on making sure my midline, my belly button, was finished back towards the middle of the floor.
Thayer Hall goes up, hits it straight down off fingertips to tie things up at 13 here in set number 1. Music with the serve receive, maybe a little bit too tight, so Barnes goes up and puts it down. But it's dug up by Florida, and there's Thayer Hall again. 5 kills already in this match. Chanel Hargraves continues to serve. Strout looking for a touch call, won't get it. That ball misses the back line. Florida leads 15-13. It appears as though we're going to have a challenge before we were to get to our media timeout. That is the case. Stephen McRoberts comes, gets the card to challenge, and there will be a review to see if this ball was touched.
Fans, Ole Miss is challenging the call on the play.
Strout looking for her 5th kill of the first set to answer Thayer Hall, but we previewed them right off the bat, and it's no joke what they've been able to accomplish so far. You talk about the numbers that matter, kills per set. Thayer Hall enters 3.82, Strout 3.66. They've got 5 and 4 respectively already in the first set.
I'm not surprised by any of those numbers, whether I knew them beforehand or not. You can just look at the way that these teams play around their outsides, and it becomes completely apparent that they are kind of the cornerstone for each of their respective offenses.
Saw the look from that angle there. And quick response there from Marley Monserrat on the near side pin, coming down with did not touch it pantomime.
Sometimes that can be an honest reaction. Sometimes it's also a really good dishonest reaction. Not that I ever did that. I always called my own touch. No.
Remember the initial ruling on this, a no touch. So there needs to be conclusive evidence of a touch on the swing from Emily Strout to overturn it. If there's conclusive evidence, otherwise the call will stand. If not, it could be inconclusive and would also stand. But early on, 15-13, Florida in the first set. Takes me back to the season last year when Ole Miss was able to take a set from the Florida Gators. They come out strong when they're trying to take down Goliath here at home. And you mentioned the 0-5 record over the last 5. The Rebels not fearful of anybody, considering who they played on their schedule so far.
No, absolutely not.
And review continues here at the Gillum Center. Seth Austin and Brittany McLaughlin here with you on a Friday night. Thanks for spending some time with us. A decision has been made. If you're reading the lips at home, as I just did, I don't believe there's going to be a reversal of this call. It should stand, and the scoreboard will read 15-13 Gators. Call stands. Florida gets the point. The number 12 team in the country leads it by 2 points here in the first set, and that will lead us to our media break here at the Gillum Center. It's set number 1 between the Rebels and Gators. We hope you stick with us and come back on the other side of this break. Set 1 between Florida and Ole Miss. The Gators on top by 2 as we return from our first set media break. It'll be Chanel Hargraves serving for the Gators. Senior from Tampa, Florida. Gators fans familiar with the last name. Her brother Vernon played cornerback for the Gators, now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And fresh off the break, Nia Warnell comes out swinging with a kill, 15-14, and she'll go to the back line to serve.
So the Lions back in the game for the Rebels. Warnell back to serve.
Warnell, a two-time SEC Offensive Player of the Week here in 2019. In fact, the Rebels have won 6 weekly awards, the most in program history. Got off to that 6-0 start in SEC play, won 14 matches in a row between the end of non-con action and the start of SEC play. Right now, looking to get back to the winning formula. Florida extends their lead to 2 off the tip on the outside pin. Here's Marley Montserrat again, 4th in the SEC, a hair under 10 assists per set. Gators average 13 kills per set. And again, the best team at blocking on average. It's the Gators, 2 of the tallest players in the league as well. One of them being Holly Carlton, the redshirt junior, 6'7" on that right side pin. Cross-court swing picked up by Bug, but sent over. Carlton the first ball, Montserrat the second, Thayer Hall the third. She was looking for a touch, wouldn't get the call, so the point goes to the Rebels.
That's a great swing by Thayer Hall, even though she wasn't able to pick up the touch there. Sometimes whenever you put enough firepower on it like that, and I think she was probably a little bit either underset or late, a combination of both likely. But approaching in that way and taking that kind of swing, sometimes you just get a little bit lucky, whether that's defense thinking they have to stick their hands out or catching a fingertip on the way across the net.
Rebels back to within 1. The attack error out of the middle for Florida. Bars the junior from Nashville, Tennessee. Started all 23 matches for Ole Miss here in 2019. My goodness, Thayer Hall, her 7th kill here in set number 1, 18-16 Florida, right out of the gates. No one saw that there.
No, yeah.
Saltemeyer out of the middle, connects. Sophomore from Fredericksburg, Texas, 1.57 kills per set on a 247 clip here this season. She had a season best in Tuscaloosa with 12 kills. She's getting herself going right here, right now against the Gators.
She certainly is. I think it pays to play a team like Florida because whether you win or lose, you're getting better. They put up such big swings like that one there from Carlton. I think that the benefit, like I said, to playing a team like that is that we're seeing bigger swings out of Saltemeyer, out of Bear, out of Mulkey, out of Strout. We're seeing bigger digs out of players like Avery Bug in the back row. They force you to play your very best volleyball every single play.
Pop-up serve from Gregory. Right side set to Mulkey. Montserrat gets her hands on it, and there's Hammonds going cross-court, dug up by Purcell. And a Bear goes line, takes the setter out. Hammonds again, tips down the line, and she'll answer by removing bars from the equation. Now it's Mulkey off fingertips for a kill. The senior from Austin, Texas, continues her hot streak and gets Ole Miss again back within 1 point of the Gators.
You know, it can be really hard to defend a team that understands how to tool the block well, because there's no way of predicting, as the hitter, but also as the defense behind, where that ball is going to go once the hitter contacts it. And Leah Mulkey does a really nice job there of recognizing the huge hands she has in front of her and swinging really high off of them.
Rachel Kramer came out of the middle for that attack, and it was close to the line. Would not be surprised if Mary Wise were to get off the bench on that one, but it doesn't appear as though she will, so play will continue. And Purcell will serve a tough one again, forcing Hammonds towards her own bench. Pushed into the corner, and now Ole Miss has a chance to attack. Another swing on the right side, blocked by the duo of Hammonds and Kramer. Remember a season ago, Brittany, the Gators came in here and set a rally scoring record with 23 blocks against Ole Miss in a 4-set match.
Right, and you'd think with 23 blocks, I mean, that's almost enough to win a set just by sheer defensive pressure. And the fact that Ole Miss was able to take a set from them despite those numbers is really impressive.
Back to serve, everybody.
Avery Bugg, the sophomore from Morrisville, North Carolina, 2 digs per set here in her first true full season being involved with Ole Miss. Played in spurts as a freshman. Kramer came on the near side pin. Regardless of whether that ball was in or out, with the disparity on the calls, net violation as well on Ole Miss. So the point for the Gators, 21-20 our score off the tape. And then tipped by Warnell. Monserrat is going to give it to Thayer Hall, who has no approach on that ball. 2 Rebels collide going for it. Only option to set was Stroup out of the back row. She put it in a dangerous location. Wow, what a swing again from Thayer Hall. She said, I'll take that garbage and I'll put it to the floor.
You know, I think I heard at least in the crowd during the middle of that spectacular rally by both teams, will somebody just hit the ball? Thayer Hall apparently heard that as well. Took a nice cut there.
Well, she's just hit the ball 15 times so far with 8 kills on a 400 clip early on. We talked a lot about the blocks. There's only been 3 so far in this set. 2 teams hitting 282 and 343. Not too shabby to this point in the contest. The Gators with a 22-20 lead, and Ole Miss calls a timeout as they try to scrap some points together and get back into this first set.
You know, really, I'm looking at stats here, Seth, and I don't see anything on either team that would indicate that they're playing poorly, and I don't think they are. I haven't been able to notice, though, one team doing anything spectacularly well.
Mary Wise, her 29th season at the helm in Gainesville, the 12th winningest coach in NCAA history with 949 wins, a 2-time AVCA National Coach of the Year, something that you would assume Stephen McRoberts is striving for in his coaching career. 6th season at Ole Miss, and talking with him throughout the week, he's very excited about the challenges ahead for his program. They sit at 53rd in the RPI, and just listen to what they have in the coming weeks. Florida at 10 tonight, South Carolina 44, Georgia 29, Texas A&M 9, Missouri 23, Kentucky 13. Those are absolutely perfect opportunities for a team sitting squarely on the bubble. If you're able to take care of business in a few of those matches, you're starting to lean towards the inside of the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. I think being a bubble team, as you said, Seth, they are quality wins, but they're also quality losses. So as long as the Rebels show up in these matches and put up a good effort, that they could still be a tournament team come the end of November.
Kill from Warnell on the far side pin. That slide has been a big factor this season for the Rebels.
Back to serve.
Izzy Guzik, the transfer from Portland. Incredible effort from the Rebels to keep it alive, and then Thayer Hall is going to be blocked. Can Florida send it back? Yes, they will. Great rallies here in this first set. Another slide from Warnell. This time she tools the block of Thayer Hall to tie things up at 22. Back underway here in Oxford. The serve from Guzik challenged the Gators for the moment. They'll get another opportunity. Monserrat on the slide back to Kramer. Bug tried to pull the platform away but couldn't. And it's going to be a Gator point. They're 2 away from taking set number 1.
Good positioning by Avery Bug there, just not quite quick enough on the reaction to keep her hands out of the way. Sometimes it can be tough. 1, understanding spatial awareness on the floor, but 2, your body in relation to that.
Oh, the look on Hargrave's face said it all. A service error knocks things back up at 23.
So some on your checks in for Ole Miss. Back to serve, Niall Warnell.
Warnell serving for Ole Miss. That means their libero is off the floor. Crunch time in set number 1. Hammonds takes the first ball. Monserrat is going to push it out to Thayer Hall, who tips it over the block. Stroup stays on the right side, goes line, and Ole Miss has set point here in the first game.
This is exactly the position that the Ole Miss Rebels want to be in here. A nice serve by Warnell.
Serves on the road again. They haven't played in 10 days. They had the weird swing in the SEC where you play on a Friday or Wednesday, don't play all weekend long. So they have been out of action for a little bit, and they're trying to get warmed up on the road against a hungry team. And they'll start out set number 2 strong. Thayer Hall bringing the energy here at the Gillum Center, picking up her first block of the afternoon.
You know, I'd expect to see that increased intensity, and I'm glad to see it here, but I don't anticipate that they let their foot off the gas anytime soon, whether it's the rest of this set or the remainder of what will be at least a 4-set match.
Another kill for Thayer Hall.
Kill by Hall.
She's 1 away from double figures. Thayer has 9 double-doubles here this season, coming off of a 19-kill performance against Missouri in the Gators' last match. It's the 3rd top 25 win of the season for Florida. They've also picked up wins against Louisville and Florida State here in 2019. And there's Thayer Hall again, showing off her volleyball IQ on the second ball.
You know, taking that first or second ball over is something that way back in the elementary school days, or even younger in some cases, when you're taught the game of volleyball, it's 3 contacts. You want to fight for 3 contacts. But the older you get, the more that idea kind of dissolves and disintegrates, because plays like that right there from Thayer Hall, you're not expecting. You grow up expecting 3 touches, and she's able to just turn and dump the ball over the net for an easy point.
That was an overpass attempt for Aubrey Seltemeyer. She was looking for a touch, didn't get the call, and Florida jumps out to a 4-0 lead here in set number 2. This point's going to go to the Rebels as Dooley goes up and over the tape and impedes Lauren Barr's ability to set that second ball. Now, no correction. It's going to be a illegal back row attack on Lauren Bars as she goes the other way and breaks the plane trying to set a ball back to Aubrey Seltemeyer.
And I think that's the key, Seth. I was initially thinking that Dooley came over the net, but I believe that the ball was in the plane.
5-0 run to start the set. Thayer Hall looking for more. It's dug up. Stroup near side pin. Brought back by Florida, and it's not going over the tape again. Timeout taken by Ole Miss early on. Florida coming out in the second game on fire. Skillful, lucky, however you take it, you'll get all the points. You'll take them however you can get them. 6-0 Florida. We'll take a break and come back with the rest of the action here in game number 2. After Ole Miss took game number 1 here at the Gillum Center, Florida trying to answer quickly. They start the second set with a 6-0 scoring run. Marley Monserrat continuing to serve for the Gators. She'll challenge Nicole Purcell with a laser of a serve. And then Straub off the timeout ends that scoring run just as you would expect her to do. She'll gather up her team in the middle of the floor and try to get them motivated to come back here early on in the second game.
You know, and I think it's important the way that you said that, Seth, get them to kind of keep going here in the second set. Yeah, they've got a 5-point lead, but as we've seen, this Ole Miss squad is capable of knocking off a top 15 RPI ranked team. So Florida keeping their foot on the gas pedal, keeping that momentum trending toward 25 to take this second set is going to be crucial even from the beginning.
Dooley and Thayer Hall combined for a block on the near side pin, most recently 7-1. Appears as though Thayer Hall shuts down the line shot.
Great job turning her hands in towards the middle of the floor.
Bear cuts one cross court. It's dug up by Gregory. That'll be an attacking error on Florida for the second point of the set for Ole Miss.
That's a crafty set. I love that set by Marley Monserrat. Out of system, so she has to kind of run towards that left front corner. But, you know, when you've got a player like Thayer Hall or Emily Straub, Leah Mulkey, there are various players on both squads that could be filled in that blank. They're always ready in the back row, so you're never truly, I mean, yes, you're out of system by definition, but you're never truly out of system because you've got such heavy hitters in the back row.
I like that right there from Monserrat. Set Carlton on the previous play. It was cut into the net. She goes right back to her and lets her put one on the floor.
Left-handed hitters are hard to block. Anna Baer does a good job of lining up pretty well, but she's not taking up a whole lot of space. I'd love to see a big, even if you're in the wrong place, take up a big space so that your defense can work behind you.
Out of the back row, there's Thayer Hall, kill number 11 for the sophomore.
Another great set by Marley Monserrat there. See Thayer Hall come from the back line, swing straight down.
Out of system, there's Anna Baer. First ball taken by Warnell after the block. Baer gets a full swing on this one. There's the talented libero, Allie Gregory. A dig from Lauren Bars, and then miscommunication between Baer and Purcell. And that one's not getting returned. Florida off and running, 10-3 here in game number 2.
You know, as much as that plays a miscommunication, Seth, it really, the first word that popped in my head there was trust. Anna Baer has to trust that her libero, Nicole Purcell, is going to take care of that second ball since Lauren Bars dug up the first. So the miscommunication, yeah, that's something that, you know, the team wants to work out, but I would love to see Anna Baer just turn blindly even to go and transition, trusting that Purcell is going to pick it up.
Ole Miss has been clean at the back line serving. The Gators have 2 service errors. Bug goes down the line challenging Gregory on that serve. There's a dig that's kept alive, and then a joust at the net. Good block by Warnell. Ole Miss looked to be dead to rights. They still have a chance here as Emily Straub rolls one over. Monserrat going into the middle to Kramer, just gets a piece of it. Bug just gets a piece of the dig. And the point eventually goes to Florida. It looked like they had a couple chances prior to that, but Ole Miss stayed alive. Instead, the Gators show off that they can be strong throughout a rally.
You know, Bug didn't have to play that ball. Straub was moving in a crossing pattern behind her, which is exactly how you draw it up. But I would rather see Bug make a play on that ball like she did and not be able to keep it exactly in play than turn and kind of question, is Straub there? I like the defensive aggressiveness by Avery Bug.
Carlton serving for Florida. Hammonds. Deep corner shot there from the junior.
You know, I have to say I would love for the crossing pattern that I mentioned earlier to be something that Ole Miss does here better. Straub has a tendency to scoot into the middle of the floor on defense, and that's not to say that she's undisciplined, but as a back row player who also swings at the ball, takes some of those back row hits, staying towards the middle of the floor is to her benefit so that she's able to take a better approach. But in a case like this against Florida, whenever you've got to make sure that your block's closed, being more disciplined on defense could suit the Rebels better today.
Guzik, the junior from San Diego. Mentioned she transferred from Portland. Playing in her 15th match in her first season with Ole Miss. Bars attacks the second ball, a diving effort from Fisher. Warnell just kind of flails one in towards the back row, picks up another kill. Down by 6 is Ole Miss. They'll continue to rely on Guzik at the back line.
You know the one statistical category that's missing rightly from the stat sheet? Messy errors. It doesn't matter, or messy kills, excuse me. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It hits the floor there, and sometimes those messy kills are the ones that get points because the other team's ground in on defense.
Another kill for Paige Hammonds. Junior from Louisville, Kentucky, prepped at Sacred Heart Academy. 2.21 kills per set on a 234 clip entering tonight's match, and we talked about the service aces. Boy, she's fantastic. We'll keep an eye on number 7 here. That one goes off tape. Purcell's able to keep it alive. Oh, rejected by Warnell. Can Florida bring it back? No. Nia Warnell getting her team closer again.
I like the hustle by Fisher there. You know, some people might say, well, you're probably not going to get the ball over anyway. The point's not done until the whistle blows, and you never know. You just never know when you go after a ball what might transpire.
Net violation on Florida. 5-point game here in set number 2. Warnell 5 kills on 8 total attacks, hitting .625 in the contest. Gregory, a great pass to Monserrat, and then the set equally as beautiful as Rachel Kramer pounds it to the floor.
A nice job in transition, getting far off the net. Soltemeyer late, there's no other way to put it. Soltemeyer just late. Needs to be following her hitter a little bit more there as she transitions and moves, taking maybe 1 or 2 steps to her left in anticipation of Kramer getting a quick set on the slide there.
Soltemeyer blocked by Florida and Thayer Hall. Hall now with 3 blocks, I believe. All of them are solo. Out on an island on that near side pin. Straub goes line. Hargraves digs it, but it comes all the way back to Ole Miss. Bars will go right back out to Straub. This time pushes it through the block, and it's dug up by Hammonds. Hall's going to bump this one over. First ball taken by Bug. Full range of weapons available to Bars. She goes to Soltemeyer on the slide. Net violation on Monserrat as she went up to attack that ball.
I think the call, if I'm understanding correctly, was that she had stepped over that center line. You are allowed to be in contact with it in the same way that your hair is allowed to contact the net. You are not allowed to step completely over the center line, which I believe is what Marley Monserrat did.
15-9 Florida with Lauren Bars serving for Ole Miss. Tack another kill on for Thayer Hall. She goes as deep into the corner as you can go.
You know, I don't want to say that's an undefendable ball, but that's just so well placed. She's out of system, and that's exactly how you draw it up. That's the kind of stuff you work on week in and week out from the time you touch a volleyball at the age of, you know, maybe 10 or so, all the way up through Division I, the top ranks, and Thayer Hall executes well.
Straub gets kill number 7 here.
A good transition there. I love to see, especially when Straub's in the passing pattern and she's not passing the ball. When she is too, but especially when she's not, that she gets really far outside and gives herself the full range of the floor to take her approach.
That'll be a double contact call made on the setter, Monserrat. Point goes to Ole Miss. as they try to inch back here in game number 2. Florida started out this set on a 6-0 run. Straub in the back row serving. Hall dug up by Purcell. It's an overpass. Carlton dug up by Bars. Another call with Purcell going down to the ground. She went over that line in the center. So point goes to the Gators. They lead by 6 here in the second game, and Thayer Hall enters the back row. She'll serve. She's dangerous as well, has 24 service aces on the year. Mulkey right side goes line. Gregory able to keep it alive. Here's Florida again. This time it's Carlton. She goes line. The dig from Purcell. One more offensive attack from the Gators. Hammond's not going to be dug up.
Good job spreading out the offense there by Marley Monserrat. We saw some back row attacks, some front row attacks. We saw a slide or two. I love, too, seeing Dooley active. Even though she hasn't been set a lot, she is transitioning B32. I might even remember a 35. But beyond that, I don't nothing in the 40s. And then just kudos, Jordan Thompson.
To give you an idea, remember, Emily Straub was second nationally a season ago with 584 kills, and Thompson was best in the NCAA, and Emily Straub's best a season ago was 32.
Yes, yes.
Thayer Hall looking for a best here tonight. That one's going to be brought back, though, by Ole Miss. Good effort by the Rebels. Monserrat, right side. Carlton cuts one across court. Misfires. Another point for Ole Miss.
Kind of having to swing back across her body is Carlton.
Warnell is back on the floor.
Ole Miss showed some fortitude in the first set. Florida had the lead for a majority of it, none as big as the 6-point lead they've had in this one. That's the first service error of the night for Ole Miss. Purcell fires it into the net, and the Gators increase their lead to 7.
Allie Gregory serving for Florida.
Allie Gregory from Louisville, Kentucky. Double contact by Warnell, 20-12 Gators. Gregory prepped at Assumption High School, a school we talk so much about because there are so many defensive specialists, liberos, that have been pumped out of that program. In fact, there were 6 on Gregory's senior team alone. She had to wait till she was a senior to even get to don the libero jersey, and now she's libero for the number 12 team in the country. That tells you what kind of a prep program is there in Kentucky.
That's not unheard of if you're familiar with volleyball, but growing up just maybe an hour or so west on 64, Interstate 64, the breed of player that comes out of that area, Kentucky in general, but that area of Kentucky specifically, is so defensively disciplined that it's not shocking that she had to wait until her senior.
One-on-one in the middle on the pipe, and there's Nio Warnell with another block. That's the kind of play you need to instill some emotion.
A big swing always has the risk of a big block. The harder you hit it in, the harder it's going to come back at you. Florida has been pretty good on their hit coverage today, but there's not much you can do about that.
Hammond's tips. Ole Miss has a chance to send it over. They do. Hall the first ball. Monserrat the second. Kramer wasn't able to put it away. And then Anna Bear on the far side was looking to respond, was aggressive on the approach, but missed deep.
Carlton back to serve.
Kramer dug up. Second ball taken by Purcell. This will be Bear. Rolls it into the tape. Gators were calling for a 4th touch. Eventually, it's going to be Anna Bear tooling the block on that far side pin.
Fisher checks in for Florida. Now serving
Sincerely now for a second time, surprised Mary Wise not up off the bench to look, has the challenges in her back pocket.
I was just thinking that, almost waiting for her to challenge that, well, lack thereof, touch. So it would be 4 contacts and would have given the Gators the point a play sooner.
kill number 7, Paige Hammonds.
I suppose, though, since challenges are limited, looking at the score and all things considered, you would hope that your team could finish out finish out a set so that you can save those challenges for later in the match because, again, you don't get more.
Don't see that too often. The service error from Hammonds. 23-15 here in game number 2. Florida looking to even things out on the road. This will be Nia Warnell serving for the Rebels. Kramer, far side, dug up by Guzik, and it's going to land in the red paint right in front of the Florida bench. Set point Gators. They've been in control in this game since the beginning, and they're trying to end it and send this one to the 3rd set.
Set point.
Hargraves will be serving for Florida. They'll end the set with an ace. Pure domination here in game number 2. 25-15. Florida wins it. We're all tied up in a game apiece. Set number 3 coming your way next on the SEC Network. 21. Ole Miss will take on the Gamecocks on Sunday. That match at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central. Brittany and I will be on the call for that one. The Gamecocks looking for a 4th straight win. They've won their last 3 matches by sweep. Back in Oxford, Ole Miss looking for their first win against the Gators since 1989. Thayer Hall came and tracked that one over the shoulder. Saltemeyer's attack out of the middle. Not a lot of oomph, but it's not coming back. 1-0 Ole Miss. A better start here in game 3 than in game 1, where Ole Miss went down 6-0 quickly.
I'm sure that was a point of emphasis for sure in the Ole Miss huddle, though they closed that gap a little bit. Florida was able to pretty much keep that 6 or so point lead for the entirety of the 2nd set.
And then a huge block on the opposite pin. Leah Mulkey, spark plug out there on the floor.
You know, blocks like that are fun to watch, but they are so gratifying as a player when you know you're going up against one of the best in the country. To be able to do that solo, it just feels good. It solidifies the work that you've put in preparing for the match.
Here's Mulkey again. This time off fingertips for a 3-0 run.
Point, Ole Miss.
Allie Gregory's in the right spot. Sometimes you just don't have the hops. I'm sure she's got a great vertical.
Thayer Hall responds with a kill of her own. 13 kills for Thayer Hall. She leads all attackers through 2 sets. Florida was hitting 229 as a team. Stroup roofed by Dooley and Carlton.
Block by Carlton and Dooley.
For the most part, Ole Miss kind of standing up on that hit coverage. Not really ready to play the ball.
Hammonds, quick approach, block back towards that 10-foot line and sideline corner, but instead it sailed out of play. So a tool for Paige Hammond is just not the usual one that drops to the floor on the near side. That one came all the way towards us. Straup's going to tip. Here comes Hammonds to pick it up. Into the back row goes Monserrat. That one was rocketed but picked up by Purcell, and then Stroup answers with a kill.
I mentioned it earlier, but if you're just tuning in, one of the things that pays dividends is playing a big hitting team like Florida, and it does so with plays like that from Emily Stroup. Response. 8 kills, 5 digs on the evening for Stroup, but that kill right there, especially right after the big back row swing by Thayer Hall, shows that Ole Miss is not going anywhere anytime soon in this match.
Hammond's attack doesn't touch anything. Another point for Ole Miss. To add on to your point, Brittany, Ole Miss got 10 kills combined from Baer and Stroup in the first set. They got just 3 combined in set number 2. They're going to need more production on that outside pin.
Definitely more production from the outsides, but I think just offensive production overall was a bit down in that second set as compared, not bad, but just a bit down in the second set as compared to the first, and it's against a team like Florida. You've really got to be firing on all cylinders the entire match.
That was Carlton able to put one down to the hardwood. Gregory now serving Emily Stroup. Bars will go outside to Baer. She goes cross court. A one-hand pickup by Gregory, and then Hammonds isn't able to put it down. Gregory gave her team a chance. Unfortunately for Florida, the point's going to belong to the Rebels.
Hammonds looking to sweep that ball off of the hands of Leah Mulkey. Anytime the ball's super tight like that, you don't have the option of just letting it go. It'd be a point for the other team automatically. But the best thing that you can try and do there, at least from an offensive standpoint, is to go up and try and push the ball into the block's hands and then sweep it out of bounds.
Hammonds cuts it cross court. Nicole Purcell called out before it went by her.
That's just good spatial awareness by Nicole Purcell, understanding exactly where she is behind the block, and then that positioning, even though there's a gap between the sideline, understanding her positioning in relation to the sideline.
There's Rachel Kramer with another kill.
Kramer on the kill. Point Florida.
6'8" out of Phoenix, Arizona, the tallest player in Florida program history. Leah Mulkey, that one was dug up, and it's an overpass. The Rebels with another opportunity here. Baer dug up by Hall. Hammonds goes and tips the second ball over. Purcell's going to bump this one outside to Mulkey, who whips it across court and off the platform of Carlton for a kill.
You know, with her height, Carlton in the back row, especially scooting in like that, playing with her platform may not be the best idea. That ball's either out if she's playing it that high above her waistline, that drawn into the floor, or she needs to sit her butt down a little bit and play the ball with her hands.
Avery Bugg serving. She's got 9 digs already in this contest. Baer blocked. But into the red paint. Florida calling for a touch. Mary Wise will get up and utilize the challenge card here.
I believe they're looking to see if Anna Baer may have touched the ball again after she contacted it.
So we go back to the scorer's table. Ron Stahl, Kevin Wendelbo, our referees tonight. Dawn Dismukes and Jennifer Emanuel, our line judges. Here's a look from the net. Baer's going to come in and attack this ball. Immediately, Kramer and Monserrat turn around looking for a touch.
You know, it happens awfully quickly, but I can't say that I necessarily saw anything that would indicate to me that Baer touched the ball. As you mentioned, Kramer's response immediately turning around looking for the touch. Baer, as soon as she hit the ball, turning around, signaling that it was out, which it was, but there was no delay or look of guilt, I guess we could say.
It would have come down quickly and almost looks as if it did hit her. It would have been right off her face. First challenge of the evening for the Gators. Reminder of what's at stake in this match. The Florida Gators have won 7 in a row. They're looking for an 8th straight to stay atop the SEC. Remember, Kentucky already picked up a win tonight with the Wildcats sitting at now 10-2. Florida's trying to keep that streak alive and stay on top of the standings. Ole Miss started off SEC play 6-0 in the midst of a 14-match win streak. They've lost 5 in a row since. It's been a gauntlet of a schedule as well for the Rebels. Texas A&M, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama with Florida tonight, South Carolina on Sunday. Point will stay with the Rebels.
After review, the call is confirmed. Point.
Call confirmed here at the Gillum Center. No touch after the block went out of play.
I think I would have to agree with that. I didn't really see anything on the replay that would indicate that Bear had touched the ball.
Monserrat outside. We saw Emily Strout duck out of the way of that shot from Paige Hammonds. Rebels push ahead by 5.
A really nice approach there by Paige Hammonds. Not enough quite, though. Rebels on top 10-5 here in the third set, tied at 1 apiece. Stay with us. We'll be right back for more in the third set of action.
Thanks for serving our country.
Ole Miss leads Florida 10-5 here in set number 3. Back and forth we've gone between the Gators and Rebels here on a Friday night in Oxford. This is Avery Buck serving for the Rebels. Second ball taken by Thayer Hall. She sets outside to Mia Sokolowski, who we're seeing for the first time tonight. Monserrat is going to go up and attack that second ball. Bars is going to answer with one of her own. Difference is Bars hits the floor.
Sometimes there's a difference too, obviously, but between tipping as a setter whenever you don't have any other option and then tipping as a setter when you have all of your options. Bars has all of her options there and then goes up by choice to throw that ball in the middle of the floor.
Sokolowski's first attack is blocked by Warnell.
Great out-of-system ball. Rejected, though. A really nice block by Nia Warnell. Disciplined block to stay and wait and wait and wait. That's kind of what you have to tell yourself as a hitter, as a blocker in an out-of-system situation, to wait, 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 and then release and jump.
Kramer's shot cross court isn't being brought back. Kramer's got 8 kills in the match on a .467 hit percentage. Bears' third approach of the rally. That one ends in a Rebel point.
I appreciate the confidence of Lauren Bars, some out of necessity, but choice also. Going back to Anna Bear and going back to Anna Bear, and her readiness, her willingness to continue to swing at the ball, it pays off here. It is only going to continue to add to that confidence kind of coming back into the rotation onto the floor for the Rebels.
This will be Thayer Hall off the bump set. She'll just tip it over with 2 hands. Straup's going to track this one down, throw it into the corner. Monserrat goes Kramer in the middle, and Emily Straup and Nia Warnell say no thank you.
Really great block there. A yellow card issued to the Ole Miss bench, I believe. Not exactly sure what for.
Here's Straub. This time she's blocked by Kramers, so block for block. As we hinted at the beginning of this broadcast, two teams that have been very good in that category this season.
Sure, and what I think, at least, the more I think about those statistics, Seth, is that these two teams are very, very different in the front row. Florida, it's quite obvious why they would be such a good blocking team. Ole Miss, on the other hand, has the height, but it's not anything, exceptional or crazy. They've just been very disciplined, very good about going up and taking away space this season.
Straub's attack hits the antenna on the near side pin. There's a good look at it right there. So a point for Florida. They're within 6. Guzik's pass is good. Warnell rolls it off a block. Free ball coming for Ole Miss. Guzik the first. Bars goes back on the slide to Warnell. This will be Thayer Hall on a modified approach. Sharply cross court. And then a lot of real estate out there in the middle of the floor, and Emily Straub finds it.
Thinking back to my time playing, the thing that makes you most successful against a big blocking team like Florida is either the set being off the net so that you've got more time to kind of decide where you want to swing at the ball, or a faster set so that your block is late. In this case, the set a little bit higher but off the net, distance off the net, and it pays dividends for Straub. She's able to go up and wail on the ball.
Thayer Hall, her 14th kill on the night.
Carlton is back in the game for the Gators. Serving Marley Monterey.
Hall, a 2-time Offensive Player of the Week here in 2019. This will be Marley Monterey serving. Tough float serve eaten up by Guzik. Straub was blocked. This will be a free ball for Florida. Monterey goes outside to Thayer Hall, who hangs up in the air for that one and tips it. Bars just sends the second one over. Gregory will set outside to Carlton. Cross court dug up by Avery Bug. Incredible. Monterey sets it straight up in the air to Carlton. She's unable to cut it cross court. That play was all possible because of the dig by Avery Bug.
You're absolutely right. Yes, having the hit go out of bounds by Carlton is what earns you the point, but what gives you the opportunity to get there is the amazing play by Avery Bug. She has really been standout for the Rebels tonight on the defensive side of the ball.
Bug has 12 digs, approaching what would be a career high. She had 17 earlier this season. Thayer Hall looked to put a bunch of juice under that ball, but too strong on the swing, and a timeout's going to be called by Florida.
That's a nice play by Darielle King, recognizing she and Carlton kind of switching back and forth during that play, keeping an eye on the ball to go up and get that kill.
There's another rally brewing. This one set near side to Carlton, knuckles it off the block. Guzik's going to tip out of the back row. Monterey going to go back row to Thayer Hall. She'll tip. Free ball coming for Florida. Monterey going into the middle. Darielle King inserting herself well.
Great swing by Darielle King, and I have to say I think that is due in part because Ole Miss sent a free ball over. When the ball came over, kind of that tip came over, Leah Mulkey threw her hands at it, and it was really a wasted contact because then the only choice by Izzy Guzik was to throw the ball outside, giving Florida essentially the opportunity for that huge swing by King.
Monterey's going to set up Hammonds on the outside. This will be Carlton. She goes cross court, and Lauren Bars was unable to keep it up.
Good job staying at home by Lauren Bars here on this play, waiting for the ball to come through the block first, just not quite in the right position, and then body-wise, she was a little bit too high. Love to see her feet a little bit wider, weight in the balls of her feet, kind of leaning forward, anticipating moving into the floor to play the ball.
That'll be a double contact call made on Lauren Bars. And that'll be a timeout taken by Stephen McRoberts. Now here comes Florida, as we said, on a 4-0 scoring run after that timeout. Rebels had an 8-6-0 run for Florida. Remember what they did here on this Gillum Center floor a season ago, 23 blocks. They're starting to stack them up here in game number 3.
Incredibly disciplined pin setup and close.
Straub tips. Monserrat bump sets Carlton on the near side pin. One-handed dig by Bars, another opportunity offensively for the Gators. Carlton again goes line, and the Gators are within 1.
It looks a little bit here just by my eye and kind of from this angle, Seth, that a little bit of the wind has gone out of the sails. These Ole Miss Rebels, they were on top, and then just a few points, a matter of a few plays, and it appears that all the momentum has shifted to the other side of the floor.
There's Bailey Scott, kind of ricocheted through the block in the middle, and then no one for Florida was able to bump it back up. Ole Miss stops the bleeding for the moment, ends a 7-0 scoring run, and push ahead by 2. Monserrat will have a back row set here with Carlton, King, and Hammonds at her disposal. Straub serving for the Rebels. Carlton goes up and hangs. Purcell able to get to the second ball after it goes off hands. And then it's Anna Bear. That is a smart swing by the freshman.
A really smart swing. I was hoping to see Bailey Scott a little bit more active in transition. She kind of got pinned on the net, and as such, all of the focus shifting towards Anna Bear, but she does a really nice job of going up and taking the swing that she's given. Not the swing that she may have wanted, maybe not as hard or in the exact spot, but she takes what she's given and gets the kill.
Carlton being fed ad nauseum here for Florida. Bear goes cross court. Gregory dives for it, but is not going to be able to keep it alive. 20-16 Ole Miss.
Right back in the same spot. I think now is the time that you make a little bit of an offensive shift if you're Allie Gregory, just moving and giving the block a little bit more responsibility, hoping that they'll take up some of the space that you've been trying to protect in the backside floor.
Back row set to Thayer Hall. She's going to tip. Lauren Bars takes the first ball. This will be a bump set to the right side for Mulkey, and it'll be an Ole Miss point. Mulkey's 5th kill of the outing.
Only her 5th kill, but they've been really impactful swings tonight, Seth. She's done a good job of using the balls that she's given here. She's gotten a lot of kills without having to take a whole lot of swings. Total attempts for Leah Mulkey heading into this set. We're just at 9, and I know she's not a lot above that now, so for the production she's had in kills, it's impressive.
Carlton, a quick answer for her 11th kill. She's one of 2 Gators in double figures.
Now serving Allie Gregory.
A great pass there by Thayer. Bailey Scott in the right position. She's just too far off of the net.
That's a tough serve from Gregory. This will be another swing from Mulkey. Hits hands, comes back to Ole Miss. Second set of the rally finds fingertips. Leah Mulkey providing that spark. It's been what she's done all season long.
Rachel Kramer just rushing to try and make something of the hole that's left in the block, and it doesn't matter. Leah Mulkey chooses to swing high hands, and that's, I think, how the Rebels are going to continue to have success through the length of this match, just to continue to endure such a big block from the Gators. They're going to have to start swinging, or continue swinging, rather, high hands.
Monserrat needed a kill. She went to Rachel Kramer. That's her 9th of the night. Averages 2.2 per set on a .330 hit percentage here this season, at least entering tonight's match. Overpass on the serve. Hammonds puts it away.
Back and forth again we go. I mentioned the momentum kind of shifting towards Florida, and then we saw, they must have heard me, ears burning or something. 4 or 5 points straight, Ole Miss just firing off points. Florida responding here. I think even though there's a 3-point gap, it's going to be really interesting to see how this third set plays out.
Mulkey being fed now by Bars. Second ball taken by Purcell here. It's Anna Bear. Great effort from Allie Gregory. Here's Hall out of the back row. She'll tip. First ball taken by Mulkey. Second Bars into the middle for Warnell. Gregory got there. The whistle blown. Florida unhappy with it, but the point will belong to Ole Miss.
Heck of a defensive effort by the Florida Gators there. A great dig and then a pancake. That's what we were hoping to see for the rally to continue. That ball would have had to touch nothing but the top of a Gator palm. The up official makes the call, says the ball contacted the ground.
How about this? 4 Rebels in double figures in digs. One of them being the server, Avery Bugg. She's got 12 and sends the serve off the tape. Free ball coming for the Rebels. Second ball attacked by Bars, no one home.
From the center,
Great tip by Bars there. You see, I think really what happened is that the Gators were expecting a swing. They were just expecting a harder swing, and that only shows just how high of a volleyball IQ Lauren Bars has, recognizing the right opportunity. She had a full arsenal of hitters at her disposal, and she chose to go up and put that ball away. Smart play.
Monterey goes on the slide to Rachel Kramer. She hammers that one at about 11 feet right in front of our eyes.
Dirty, dirty swing by Rachel Kramer. She's got all kinds of real estate. Anna Bear, too. Really impressed by those ranks. Florida winning at least 25 of the last 28 consecutive seasons. That's the longest D1 volleyball streak. It's an impressive program, you mentioned it, on the floor, but also in the classroom. All of these Gators going out and pursuing big degrees. Really in the SEC, you're going to see that with every school. You're not recruiting slouches. These girls work as hard in the classroom, if not harder in some cases, than they do on the floor, in and out every single day.
Hammonds down by 3. Purcell, a good pass to Bars. This is Anna Bear. She goes off the fingertips of Kramer, and Ole Miss has a 2-1 lead at home against the number 12 team in the country.
We'll see a 5th set of action here tonight in the Gillum Center. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us on the other side of this break. Ole Miss takes set number 3, 25-21 over Florida.
We've got a great match going on between Florida and Ole Miss here at the Gillum Center in Oxford. Ole Miss takes game 1 and game 3 to go up 2-1 against the number 12 team in the nation. Let's take a look at stats through 3 sets here in the Magnolia State. We told you blocks were going to be a big-time factor in this match. Florida turned it on in that 3rd set. They couldn't get the win, but they've got 9 blocks. Ole Miss has 6 of their own facing this high-octane offense for Florida.
A high-octane offense, and you mentioned blocks. That's directly going to affect how the other team swings, the total number of kills they have. And you can see if you were to take those 9, it would be exact. If you take those 9 blocks away from Florida, your kills are exactly even. So I think it just shows how hard Ole Miss is working to earn their points.
Ole Miss hitting 190 as a team. After the first set, they were hitting 406 before running into that lethal block for the Florida Gators. A couple of players turning it on for Ole Miss there in set number 3. Anna Bear with 5 kills in the 3rd set alone. She's leading the Rebels with 11. Leah Mulkey had 2 kills through 2 sets. She picked up 4 kills in that 3rd game. For Florida, it's their middle and right side. Kramer with 5 kills in set number 3 to give her 11. Carlton with 4. She's got 11 as well. Thayer Hall just 2 kills in that 3rd set. It's nice to see some balanced attack for 2 teams. It makes this so much more fun for us to be spectators for. And what do we say? There's another block. It's Thayer Hall, her 4th of the match.
Big block for Thayer Hall there, and how Florida is going to want to start this set if they're going to have a chance at pushing 5, forcing that decisive 5th set. Played to 15, still win by 2.
Two nothing start here in game number 4.
Darielle King's a player we hadn't seen in the first 2 sets of action, and then she storms onto the floor, literally storms onto the floor, picks up a couple quick blocks immediately in that 3rd set, and then a big kill here to start the 4th.
After we went back and forth in game 1, the starts to games 2, 3, and 4 have been lopsided. Ole Miss is going to want to stop Florida from getting out any further ahead than they have so far. It's 3-0 to begin the 4th game. And Monterey continues to serve at the back line. She has been a problem for Ole Miss today. There's Anna Baer, her 12th kill to end that early rally.
Excited to see Anna Baer working in the Ole Miss offense tonight. We talked a bit before the match with head coach Stephen McRoberts about how she'd faced kind of those freshman type situations where you see a little bit of a setback and you maybe get injured or you have to take some time off from practice, and she hadn't seen a lot of play or a lot of successful play, at least as we had seen in the beginning of the season. But here tonight she has proven that she is a player that is capable of going the long run for the Rebels.
Barzil feed her again. She goes line, no touch. So a 5-1 start here in game 4.
Ball goes back to Anna Baer. A good set, a good swing. I would love to see her take a little bit, a little bit more pace on the ball, especially if she's going to be swinging high hands.
Thayer Hall called for a fault on the serve. Marley Monserrat coming near side to get an explanation. It appears as though the signaling is that she served from outside the sidelines. Is that correct?
I think so, and I'm kind of trying to decipher exactly what Marley Monserrat, who's the captain, the speaking captain, floor captain for the Florida Gators, would be, and it looks like just maybe, a handful of inches or less. Thayer Hall would have been too close to your screen at home, too close to us here in the box. You have to stay within the extended sidelines whenever you contact the ball.
Because it was not a foot fault. She serves from far back from that line.
Correct, yes.
So we'll get back to action here, and Florida will get back to rejecting Ole Miss attacks. Darielle King, boy, how much fun is she to watch?
She's a player that backs up the emotion, and I love that. She's making the big plays, and then she's just as excited for her teammates as she is for herself, and rightfully so.
That was a double block on the outside. It may have been Carlton that got all of that one. Looking on to the replay. Tip from Warnell. Paige Hammonds isn't having any of that.
A great job tracking her hitter in Nia Warnell there.
Timeout taken by Ole Miss. That'll lead us to a media break here at the Gillum Center. A 5-point lead for Florida here in game number 4. Join us after the other side of this break. She's got 4 blocks, which is a season high, and 5 ties. Florida out and running here in game number 4. 7-2 our score between the Gators and the Rebels. It'll be Allie Gregory continuing to serve. Net violation on Warnell. Will extend that lead to 6. Florida a chance to extend their lead. Monserrat right side. Carlton rejected by Anna Baer and Nia Warnell.
Excited to see these two teams continue to work here tonight. Blocks on defense on blocks. Just goes to show that both are going to have to really work to earn their points.
Kramer, the quick answer.
There's really not much you can say to emphasize or to add emphasis to that swing by Kramer. Nia Warnell was late, but Kramer's a player that's going to go up and get hers.
Bars goes up and slams it home. Rebels trying to inch back into the set. Florida trying to force a 5th and final set. It's been a great match between two teams here on different sides of the spectrum right now. Rebels trying to snap a 5-match losing streak. Florida trying to extend their win streak to 8. Attack error from Kramer. Cornell will continue to serve for the Rebels. Cornell having herself a great senior season. Came in tonight's match 3rd in the SEC with a .405 hit percentage. That's also top 20 in the nation. Kramer answers the attack error with a kill cross court. 10-5 Gators.
Great hustle by Nia Warnell before Bailey Scott comes in to replace her. And Nicole Purcell takes over in the back row.
Straub tips, it's blocked. This time she'll throw it into the corner. Hammonds is there. Ball goes deep. Guzik's not going to be able to keep it alive.
Right idea going to play that ball with her hands. Izzy Guzik is a player that's got some height, so the fact that she's pulled into the middle of the floor for a player like Avery Bug would be too much real estate left behind her, but understanding her 6+ feet of height, she's able to step into the floor and take up a little bit more space, recognizing that she's got to go up with her hands sometimes too.
First ball taken by Fisher. Monterey goes up and gets it, sends it out to Hall.
Four hands up on a ball by Marley Monterey means only 2 left for Thayer Hall. She's not a player you want to leave with 1.
Straub looking to end it. It's blocked right back down to the line. Ole Miss not in agreement. But for now, the Gators continue to go on a run here.
Was waiting to see if head coach Stephen McRoberts would use his challenge. He's going to.
Ole Miss was fairly adamant that ball dropped in the red paint. And our line judge begged to differ, so we'll go right back to the scores table to take another look at this challenge call. Score updates from around the SEC. South Carolina was at risk of being locked up 1-1 on the road in Starkville. Instead, they win the second game 26-24 to lead 2-0. Missouri and Alabama tied up at 1 game apiece. And the 2 final scores, Kentucky sweeps Georgia, Texas A&M sweeps Arkansas. 2 of the 3 teams in the top 25 in the NCAA. Florida being the 3rd, and they're looking to force a 5th set. Here's the replay.
See if we can get a little bit better angle here. Ole Miss challenging that the ball landed out of bounds, was called in. Kind of tough to see there with players moving, and then Emily Straub's body kind of blocking a little bit of the play. Just as a reminder, it has to be a conclusive evidence to overturn the call. Was ruled in.
It's a look from distance, but it appears as though Ole Miss may have a case. We'll see what the ruling is. No, play stands with the Florida point, upheld by review. It's an 8-point lead for Florida as we try to go the distance here in Oxford. Seth Austin, Brittany McLaughlin, excited to have you with us as we call this SEC action at the Gillum Center. Emily Straub this time will end the scoring rally for Florida.
had 3 Florida Gators in pursuit of that shanked pass. Thayer, Hall, Fisher, Gregory all make a move towards the ball. You were allowed to go the full distance of the baseline, inline, beyond. You simply can't move outside the court more than the standard. So you've got an extra maybe 3 or so feet of space beyond the antennas that you can work to play the ball. Beyond that, it's not safe because you've either got a scorer's table, benches, stands, and that's an any gym.
Kramer heating up, another kill on the right side pin. 440 hit percentage for Rachel Kramer. 14 kills on 25 total attacks. Hargraves serving for UF. Initially stuffed. That'll be a tip from Bailey Scott. Back row set to Hammond. She's going to tip. Mulkey takes the first ball. This will be Bailey Scott again. No touch from Florida, and a point goes to the Gators. They are well out ahead of Ole Miss here in the set.
Good transition by Bailey Scott. That ball left a little bit off the net and maybe a little bit underset. Scott needing to recognize, maybe seeing a little bit of the a junior player in her. Not by class, just by not having as much playing time this season.
A little pop-up there. 48 combined attack errors between these two teams. Of course, blocks will play into that factor, but Emily Straub now in double figures, 20 of 23 matches this season. She's got 11 here tonight.
And a bear is back in for the Rebels. Straub back to serve.
Straub may be in the back row here for the Rebels. Monterey in the front row setting. She's got King and Thayer Hall. She'll go to Hall, and Hall splits the defense.
That's the second time tonight I can recall seeing that exact thing happen. Both Straub and Purcell are players that are capable of making a move towards that ball, but because Emily Straub, as I mentioned before, sucks into the middle of the floor a little bit so that she can be an offensive threat from the back row, it creates congestion. That's really the best way to put it. It creates congestion in the back row when it comes to defensive movement.
Timeout taken by the Rebels. 16-7. Florida leads Ole Miss here in game number 4.
South Carolina at 1:30. It's Sunday, so you can enjoy some ice
Rebels
cream
trying to
at
crawl
Gino
back
Labs.
here. They took game
SEC.
1 25-23 and game 3 25-21. Florida took the second set 25-15, and they're trying to take set number 4 in the same kind of dominating fashion. The 10th team in the RPI are the Florida Gators, 12th nationally in the NCAA rankings. Florida coming off that 5-set win against Missouri, who was in the top 25 last weekend. They're going to need 5 again today if they were to look for another win. Here's Ole Miss's record under Stephen McRoberts. Remember back in 2017, they had the 22 victories on their way to an NIVC championship. Trying to get back to that 20-win mark, but we told you what their upcoming schedule is like. That is going to be a challenging feat for Coach Mack and the Rebels.
I think that their team, specifically this Ole Miss squad in the 2019 season, is capable of getting there. You know, when you consider the 2017 season had names like Lexi Thompson, Kate Gibson, who is now Kate MacArthur. Congratulations to her. But they were a team in 2017 that had a lot of heavy-hitting upperclassmen, and now heavy-hitting upperclassmen again with names like Warnell and Straub. Strong defense behind in Purcell.
Mulkey gets the call there, and she's blocked. Anna Bear now on the opposite antenna, and she swings it off that candy cane pin to give Florida a 10-point lead.
That candy cane pin, as you mentioned, Seth, just an extension of the sideline, has to stay between and cannot be touching those two sideline extended poles.
Gregory's going to set this one to Hall on the near side. Didn't have much room to operate, and Aubrey Saltemeyer is going to stuff her.
You mentioned not having much room to operate. I also think she had to speed up her approach to the point we'll be able to see a little bit better here on the replay. Kind of had to really broad jump, which is what you don't want to do. Those last 2 closed steps of your approach, you want to plant that left foot, if you're a right-handed player, that plant that left foot perpendicular to the net and go straight up, and she had to broad jump into that ball, not being able to control it very well.
Basketball season has begun across the country, but you cannot slam dunk the ball the way Dario King just did. Impressive feat, looks fun, just not allowed.
Ball can't stay in contact with the hand longer than it would take that split second to pop, hit the ball, or set the ball. Hangs a little bit too long in Dario King's hand.
That'll be another attack error for number 2 in orange. Thayer Hall showing some love to King, the junior from DeSoto, Texas, in that group huddle after. Here's Nicole Purcell with the Rebels down by 7. Thayer Hall not going to be dug up by Ole Miss. That'll end a 3-0 scoring run for the Rebels.
Emily Straub in pretty good position there. I'd love to see, if possible, her take one more step to her right before falling to the floor. She might have gotten a fingertip on that ball.
Bars tight to the net, goes to Bear on the outside. Monserrat pushes it cross court. Purcell forced to set the near side. It's Mulkey. That one goes off the hands of Monserrat for another kill.
Bars with a nice play of hands, as you mentioned, Seth. And Leah Mulkey, who has been fairly quiet this match until she hasn't been. She's not gotten a lot of attempts, but she has made an impact with the balls that she has touched.
Hammonds comes flying in. Her attack forces an overpass, but then her attempt to put that one down is stifled. This time, her attack finds Straub. Gators forced to scramble. Scrappy point won by Ole Miss there, 18-12, and it'll force a Florida timeout. Mary Wise potentially wanting her team to just... Florida trying to win an 8th straight. Gone at least 4 in the last 2. Wrapped up October with a 4-set win against Tennessee at home, and then the 5-setter in Columbia, Missouri, just before Halloween. They've been off for 10 days, haven't seen any rust in the team from Orange. Ole Miss, Nia Warnell, a huge block there.
Point to Miss.
Warnell stays disciplined, really disciplined here, recognizing she does have 3 hitters, but continuing to follow the ball, and some of that is eye sequencing. You want to follow the ball as soon as it's off the platform, then you want to take a quick look at the setter. Is she looking around? Is she making a movement? Warnell does a nice job.
Back-to-back blocks. This time it's Anna Bear with the solo effort.
That eye sequencing that I mentioned goes something like this: ball setter, ball hitter. So you want to find the ball as soon as it comes off the platform, take a peek at your setter, then look at the ball where it's going again, outside, in the middle, right side, and then find your hitter.
Hammonds goes to the left of the block from Bars, and Warnell puts it to the floor.
Kramer checks in for the Gators. Back to serve number 14, Allie Gregory.
A nice almost thumb-up arm swing. I was kind of waiting to see if she turned her shoulders there. She does a bit, but if she's able to swing inside the block there by keeping her shoulders square to the outside pin and then swinging just her arm, taking it across her body.
Hammonds is going to tip. Here comes Anna Bear to pick it up. Free ball coming for Florida. 19-14, make it 20-14. Rachel Kramer is on fire.
I feel each set tonight, Seth, it's been a different player we've been talking about. In that 3rd set, it was Dario King. We talked a lot about Thayer Hall and have mentioned her name sprinkled throughout this broadcast, but you're right. Here late in this 4th set, it's been Rachel Kramer and Rachel Kramer and Rachel Kramer.
Anna Bear, a looping shot to the opposite corner, misses. Florida pushing towards that 25th point. Gregory with 17 digs here this evening. She'll continue to serve for the Gators. Over pass, put away by Kramer, 22-14.
Nice heads-up play at the net by Rachel Kramer. Barr's doing the best job that she can to try and track that over her shoulder and put up something, or at least try and stop the ball from coming back. It's very hard to do, though.
Warnell goes off hands. A great leaping effort from Montserrat to give her team a chance, and then Hammonds tips it at about 9 feet.
Really great short tip there. Sometimes, you know, even broadcasting, putting that hand up, your defense is going to crash and release towards the middle of the floor, right behind the block. Going as short, as tight as you can behind the block is just going to increase your success rate.
Florida able to get a nice swing off there, showing off the effort to get that ball in position to set. Montserrat is going to go right side to Carlton. She's been quiet as of late, no longer, 24-14.
Aside from the right-handed and left-handed difference, I feel like Carlton and Mulkey are two players for each team that have kind of mirrored each other. Carlton has been fairly quiet, and then she'll get a few big kills or a big block or two. Same thing with Leah Mulkey for the Rebels when she's been in on the floor.
Set point for Florida. Big swing is picked up by Gregory. This will be Hammonds going cross court, 25-14. Let's go to a fifth set here in Oxford. We'll be right back for the final set of action between the Gators and the Rebels here. Holly Carlton, of course, of all the players on the floor, she's the queen of triple doubles. Remember, she transferred from UNC where she was a setter, and I believe she had 4 in her freshman season. That ranks 9th. She did it all in one season. That ranks 9th among active players on triple doubles. Let's play ball. Paige Hammond serving for the Gators. It's that tough float. Leah Mulkey looking for a quick point for Ole Miss, and she does just that. 1-0 Rebels. Reminder, if you're new, after we played to 25, win by 2 in the first 4 games. Here in the 5th set, you play to 15, but you also must still win by 2 points. So a little bit more of a sense of urgency between these two teams. We saw in sets 2, 3, and 4 how there was a quick run by one of the two programs out there. So Florida's going to want to answer quickly if they can. Another point for Ole Miss. Some confusion out there as that second ball was sent towards the far side pin, whether Ole Miss touched it, if it touched the antenna, or if it just sailed out of play.
I think head coach Mary Wise is going to be challenging whether or not that ball might have touched a Rebel player at the net before falling out of bounds.
It was sent over towards, I believe, Thayer Hall. There was a double block sent up to try to help. Bars goes up, establishing her pin, and whether she touched this ball before it sailed out of play will be the review. Seen some good action so far at the Gillum Center this year. Ole Miss took Texas A&M to a 5th set earlier this year. Ole Miss took Kentucky to a 4th set. Now they're taking the other ranked team in the SEC to a 5th. Here's a look from our net camera.
I wasn't looking at hand seth. I was looking to see if maybe possibly a Rebel player was just in the net, not touching the ball, but a Rebel player was in the net, and I don't believe there was.
After review,
the call is confirmed. It's a point for Ole Miss. 2-0. Rebels lead it here in the 5th set. Ole Miss 3-3 in 5 setters this season. Most recently lost on Sunday in Tuscaloosa. Gators are 4-1 again. Their last match came on October 30th. That was a 5-set win in Columbia, Missouri. There's a tip from Thayer Hall. Drops it about 6 feet on the opposite sideline for the first point for Florida.
The kill falls, but there is a reckoning maybe to be had for the up official. The fans in the Gillum Center are not pleased that a double was not called on Marley Montserrat.
Just saw Chanel Hargraves shuffle across the back line. Appears as though she's going to try to serve Emily Straub. Instead, it goes to Nicole Purcell, and a tool kill from Nia Warnell puts the Rebels back up by 2.
1-2 miss.
Purcell fights off a tough serve there, and Nia Warnell continues to chase that ball out of bounds. Does a good job of finding hands and tooling the block.
Thayer Hall block picked up by Riley Fisher. Roll shot, Guzik's there. Bars tries to throw that one at the corner. Gregory's there, and then Monserrat, who has been quiet offensively, goes up and gets a kill. Just her first of the match.
You know, Seth, I'd expect both setters to be a little bit more active. That's not to say they necessarily get more kills, but jump setting or calling some trickier plays, possibly tandem hits, stacked hits, that type of thing, or sending the ball over second contact like we saw there.
Good effort from Guzik covering on the block on the Warnell attack. This is Straub. Straub roofed by Carlton. One-on-one on the near side post. We're all knotted up at 3. Holly Carlton. 6'7" out of Sterling, Virginia, averages 0.68 blocks per set. Comes up with a big one there. Straub goes deep corner that time. Ball may have hit a ceiling fixture, which is allowed. Ole Miss's second offensive attack here. It's a block on the opposite pin. This time it's Thayer Hall who matches a career high with her 5th block.
A big block there. You see Lauren Bars take a peek over her shoulder and choose to set Nia Warnell. I have to assume that maybe that split second kind of taking her mind out of just role responsibility after she sets the ball had her not quite ready.
Emily Straub.
Heavy swing from Emily Straub, drops before the back line. 4-4 on the scoreboard.
A one-on-one situation, not going to be blocked again. I think the assist, though, technically in the scorebook goes down to Lauren Bars. I'd have to give it to to Warnell, who's now serving for pulling the middle away.
A service error for Nia Warnell. Puts Florida on top, 5-4.
Thayer Hall serving for the Gators.
Rebels have a front row set. It's Lauren Bars. At her disposal, Aubrey Saltemeyer and Emily Straub. This will be Straub, and that'll be a block for Carlton.
Blocked by Carlton.
You know, there were times like this in my career, Seth, that you would just go, you'd get roofed. That's the only way to describe what Carlton's done the last couple of times against Emily Straub, but the statistics favor the hitter, and that's always what I would remind myself, and I hope that Straub knows that out of 100 swings, yeah, she might get blocked 20 times, but the other 80, she's not. So continuing to swing is going to pay off for her.
Avery Bug able to get it back over. Here's Monserrat on offense. Carlton, big swing dug up by Purcell, and then Darielle King takes the overpass and pushes it to the floor. 5th set between Florida and Ole Miss here at the Gillum Center. The Gators on top 7-4. We'll get back to playing after the Ole Miss timeout. Thayer Hall serving for the Gators. Here's Purcell on the serve receive. Bars goes outside to Straub, who tips. Out of the back row comes Thayer Hall. A great dig by Nicole Purcell. Straub's turn, off hands, not being brought back.
Emily Straub.
You know, the biggest difference, Seth, between the last 3 swings for Emily Straub, other than 2 of them being put right back in her face, is the distance off of the net. Ole Miss is going to have more success against this big Florida block if they keep the ball at about the 5 to 7 foot line when they take these big swings.
Lauren Bars serving, meaning she's in the back row for Ole Miss. Monserrat has 3 attackers at her disposal, and it's Carlton coming away with a kill.
A big swing by Carlton and a couple big blocks. Safe to say she's the name we need to remember here in the last couple of sets of action.
Carlton up to 12 kills. She's also got 6 digs and 6 blocks. An all-around star for this Florida team. Was an honorable mention All-American in 2018. Had a great season a year ago in 2 matches against Ole Miss, combined for 27 kills on a 533 clip with 7 blocks and 4 digs. 8-5 Gators. This will be Stroup on the right side, pin, dug up by Thayer Hall. Bars takes the first ball, second one taken by Purcell. This is Stroup, blocked. Purcell again. She'll set it over her shoulder to Mulkey, who tips. Hammonds comes rushing in. Monterey goes to Hall in the back row. That was electric.
That is an unbelievable play for one reason alone, and that's Marley Monterey setting the ball. I thought she was going to send it over on a second contact, which may have.
9-5 our score. It'll be the senior libero, Allie Gregory. Gregory with 21 digs, 3 off of a career best. Her serve picked up by Guzik. The set will be the right side to Stroup. It drops to the floor after hitting the hands of Rachel Kramer. Rebels within 3.
They're going to need to continue to make big plays like that, take big swings like that, and maybe have a few balls drop a little lucky if there's some miscommunication, for the Florida Gators, or a misserve here or there. 15 points doesn't afford you a lot of time to wait around for the other team to make mistakes. You've got to go out and do it yourself.
Just like Florida is with the block. It's Rachel Kramer, her 4th. Carlton in the back row serving. Goes cross court. That's a challenging serve. Stroup able to get a hold of it, and Mulkey's going to roll one over. Monterey has Kramer on the slide. Picked up. Mulkey puts that one in a dangerous location. Chance for Thayer Hall in the back row. Dug up by Nicole Purcell. Her 21st dig. Gregory answers. Hammonds now. Cross court. Back and forth. Bars to bear. Thayer Hall called for it, and Aubrey Saltemeyer goes up and knocks it to the floor.
Thayer Hall has an absolute cannon for an arm, but I just don't think that she was quite prepared to take the swing that the Gators were looking for. Ole Miss was set up for exactly that. Niall Warnell doing a good job of just taking away a little bit of space and going and grabbing the ball.
Kramer, another one, showing off the prowess, whether it's in the middle or on the slide on that right pin. Gators lead by 4 and need just 4 more to take this match. Mulkey able to make what she can with that set.
I said there was no category for messy kills, and there's not. A kill is a kill. Thayer Hall's big hands, exactly the target that Leah Mulkey needed to go up and get a kill there.
Here's Avery Bugg. Knuckles a serve over the net. Kramer again on the slide. That has been the recipe for Florida here in this 5th set.
Lots of Carlton kills, lots of Kramer kills. Avery Bugg in the right position, kind of a little bit too wide in her base, at least wider than I would prefer to see on defense. Really not able to move.
This will be Thayer Hall. Not going to be returned by Ole Miss. 13-8 Gators.
You see all gas, no brakes right now by the Florida Gators. Ole Miss is doing the things that they have done in the past 4 sets. Florida just really not letting down here.
Thayer Hall blocked that ball, popped it up, got an approach off, comes through and gets the kill. What a single person play on that rally.
I love her transition there. That's what I was waiting to see. She works hard in transition there, even though she played the ball off after the touch, excuse me.
Thayer's going to be dug up. This is match point for the Gators. Thayer Hall. Monserrat. Thayer Hall calls game, her 23rd kill of the outing. A double-double for her. 23 kills, 14 digs, and a career best 5 blocks. In 5 sets, Florida comes into the Gillum Center and takes down Ole Miss for an 8th straight win.
An 8th straight win, and unfortunately a 6th straight loss for the Ole Miss Rebels, but they're doing the right things. They just need to string it back together here again, hopefully on Sunday afternoon against South Carolina.
Florida has Mississippi State on the road as they continue their tour of the Magnolia State. And as Brittany said, Ole Miss will take on South Carolina this Sunday, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central. You can catch that action right here on the SEC Network.